Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping straight into that fast-paced, sometimes chaotic world of startups.
Absolutely, where big dreams meet, well, a lot of hard work and sometimes some serious cash.
Exactly. And sometimes a company pops up from somewhere you might not expect and just bang, makes a huge splash. We're talking about a real financial coup, actually, that's got the AI world buzzing.
Mm-hmm.
So our mission today is to unpack the story of a company called Uther AI. Pretty interesting name.
It is.
We want to figure out how they pulled off this surprising success, why they're getting so much attention so quickly, and really explore what their, frankly, audacious global plans mean.
Right. What does it mean for business intelligence, but also maybe a bigger picture
Yeah.
for India's role in the whole global AI scene?
Precisely. Because this story, it stretches all the way from Kochi, a vibrant tech hub in India, right over to the super competitive U.S. market.
Yeah, and Other AI, they aren't just, another name in the AI hat. There's a lot of noise out there.
For sure.
But they seem to be positioning themselves quite deliberately as a potentially significant player. And it's not just about the money, though the figures are definitely eye-catching.
Oh, we'll get to the figures.
It's more about a specific vision, I think, that's really starting to take shape. It shows what's possible when you combine innovation with maybe some smart strategic thinking in this exploding market.
Okay, let's dive into those figures then, the headline grabber. Uther AI just announced they secured Rs 42.77 crore.
Which is about, what, 510,000 US?
Roughly, yeah, $510,000. And this was in a follow-up pre-seed round announced July 4th, 2025. Maybe slipped under the radar for some folks firing up the barbecue.
Huh, probably. But not in the tech investment world.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a follow-up round. They actually raised $30,000 back in February 2025.
Okay, so that brings their total early funding to $80,000 then.
Right. $80,000 total pre-seed. Now, for a company this new, that $510,000 injection, I mean, that feels pretty substantial for pre-seed, doesn't it?
It really does. Pre-seed funding at that scale, it sends a very strong signal.
What kind of signal, like what are investors seeing here?
Well, it suggests Author AI isn't just selling a concept on a PowerPoint slide anymore. They've likely shown something more concrete, maybe some unique IP or a really disruptive way of doing things.
Okay.
Investors at this stage, especially with that kind of money, they're not just betting on a nice idea. They're probably seeing early signs of traction, maybe, or a methodology that feels defensible, something that makes the risk feel a bit more, calculated.
So they believe Uther AI has found a real problem worth solving.
Exactly. A genuine market need. And crucially, that Author has the technical chops to actually tackle it. Perhaps with those vertical AI agents they talk about. We should probably get into what those are.
Yeah, definitely. But first, let's rewind. How did this all start? Where did Uther AI come from?
Good question. Back to the beginning.
Okay, September 2024. That's when the founders, Uni Korath, he's the CEO, and Nikender Shekhawat, decided it's time to, well, shake things up a bit in tech. They started out based in Kochi, registered under the Kerala Startup Mission, which is interesting. Yeah. But they also have operations running in Bengaluru.
Right, hitting two major Indian tech hubs. Smart.
And Korath, the CEO, he's not exactly a rookie. This isn't his first rodeo.
No, he's got quite the track record.
Yeah, he co-founded Faradian, that was an edutech startup in Mangaluru way back in 2009. Actually built it up and sold it in 2019.
A successful exit, that always helps credibility.
Hugely. Yeah. And after that, he spent 3 years at Whatfix. Now, Whatfix is a pretty well-known name in enterprise software.
Very well known. Digital adoption platforms. That experience is likely gold for Uther AI.
How so? What specifically from Whatfix would be so valuable?
Well, think about it. At Whatfix, he would have seen firsthand how big companies really struggle with complex software tools. He'd understand the user pain points, especially around data and, getting actual business intelligence out of these systems.
Ah, okay. So Faradian taught him how to build and sell a company.
Right, the entrepreneurial nuts and bolts.
But Whatfix gave him that deep dive into the enterprise user, the data challenges, why current BI tools often fall short.
Precisely. Understanding why users get frustrated, why adoption lags, how data gets siloed, that kind of insight is invaluable when you're trying to build something better, something genuinely useful for businesses drowning in data. Seems like a very solid foundation.
It really does. Okay, so let's talk about that something better. What is the core problem Uther AI is tackling, and how are they doing it differently? You mentioned vertical AI agents.
Yes. Their main thing is an AI-powered business intelligence platform. But the key difference is this idea of vertical AI agents.
Vertical, so did that mean specialized?
Uh,
Like industry-specific or function-specific AI?
Exactly. Think of it like this. Instead of one giant general-purpose AI trying to understand everything, you have these hyper-focused agents.
Right.
So maybe one agent is trained purely on supply chain data for logistics firms. Another might understand financial metrics inside out, but specifically for SaaS companies. Another could focus just on sales patterns in retail.
All right, so deep expertise in a narrow field.
Precisely. That domain-specific knowledge allows them to generate much sharper, more actionable insights than a generic AI ever could. It's almost like having, I don't know, a team of specialist data scientists on call 24/7.
A genius intern who never sleeps, maybe.
Huh, something like that. But one that can answer complex questions without you needing to write code or build complicated dashboards.
So it's designed to be genuinely easier to use, not like some of those clunky BI tools that, let's be honest, make you want to pull your hair out.
That seems to be the goal. They launched a beta back in January 2025 and apparently got good feedback on usability. The term they use is AI native.
What does AI native actually mean in practice?
It means AI isn't just bolted on afterwards, it's woven into the fabric of the platform from day one.
Okay.
This allows for things like, genuinely intuitive interactions. Imagine just typing or saying, show me last quarter's sales growth by region and flag anything unusual.
And getting an actual answer, not an error message?
Exactly. Getting instant, detailed insights. It shifts the focus from wrestling with the software to actually making decisions based on the data. That's a huge jump for businesses that often feel like they have tons of data but struggle to get clear answers.
And they mentioned simplicity and security, too. Those feel pretty important right now.
Absolutely critical. Data breaches are everywhere, and frankly, not everyone in a company is a data whiz. So making it simple and secure is a major selling point. They seem to be hitting the right notes there.
Okay, so who's putting their money behind this vision? Who are the investors, the heavy hitters in this latest round?
Right, the money trail. Well, leading this follow-up pre-seed round was Varakumar Namburu.
The co-founder of Whatfix. There's that connection again.
Exactly. That's a strong endorsement given Korath worked there.
Yeah.
Then you have Madan Gala,
Yeah, who's he?
a data analytics veteran. We're talking over 20 years of experience in that specific field.
Wow, okay. Deep expertise.
Definitely. And also Mithun Nair, who's known as an angel investor active in the Kerala startup scene.
So a mix of connections, deep industry knowledge, and local support. Because didn't their earlier investors also come from Kerala?
That's right. The initial $30K came from Narayan Babu and Thomas Matthew, both Kerala-based. So strong local roots combined with this broader expertise now?
What does the specific profile of these investors tell you? Does it validate the business model more strongly?
I think it does, significantly. Having someone like Namburu, who knows the founder professionally and co-founded Whatfix, invest his own money, that speaks volumes about his belief in the team and the idea.
Right. It's personal conviction.
And getting a veteran like Madan Gala, who lives and breathes data analytics, to back you, that's huge validation for the technology and the market opportunity Uther AI is targeting.
So it's not just speculative cash. It's smart money from people who really get it.
Precisely. It suggests Uther AI isn't just a promising concept. It's seen as a well-thought-out, executable plan by people who understand the nitty-gritty of this industry.
Okay, so they've got the cash, that impressive RS 42.77 crore. What's the grand plan? What are they going to do with it?
Well, the immediate goals seem pretty standard for this stage. Fine-tuning the product, really nailing that product market fit, making sure it resonates deeply with initial customers.
Makes sense. Build a solid foundation.
But here's the really ambitious part. Their eyes are firmly set on the U.S. market.
Already. Wow. That feels fast.
It is fast. But the U.S. is often seen as, the holy grail for AI startups.
Why is that? Just the size?
Size is a huge part of it, yes. Massive demand for innovative tech. Plus, generally, a greater willingness maybe to invest big in promising early-stage AI companies.
So it's a bold move.
Right.
Like showing up to a potluck with a dish nobody's ever tried before, but hoping it's a hit.
That's one way to put it. It's definitely ambitious. Taking an Indian startup into the hyper-competitive U.S. market so early, what do you see as the biggest immediate hurdles they might face?
Well, you've got massive competition, right? Google, Microsoft, countless established BI players and other AI startups all fighting for attention.
Absolutely. The competition is fierce.
And then there are cultural differences in how business is done, navigating regulations. It's not straightforward.
Not at all. But the flip side is that the U.S. market is mature. Businesses there are used to buying sophisticated software, they understand the value proposition of good BI, and they're actively looking for AI-driven advantages.
So the potential reward is massive if they can break through.
Exactly. It's a calculated risk. They probably figure that to become a truly global player, they need to tackle the biggest, most demanding market early on. If you can succeed there, it sets a global benchmark. They're betting they can find that niche where demand for truly integrated AI-native solutions is really taking off.
It's a high-stakes gamble, but potentially high reward.
Definitely. They'll need sharp execution to navigate that crowded space.
Now let's zoom out a bit. Because Other AI isn't just happening in isolation, right? They're part of this bigger surge in India's AI scene.
Oh, absolutely. India's AI landscape is incredibly dynamic right now.
The numbers are pretty staggering. I saw a Boston Consulting Group report from this year, 2025, projecting India's AI market could triple to around $17 billion by 2027.
17 billion. That's massive growth.
And it seems fueled by real substance. India has this huge talent pool, over 600,000 AI professionals, apparently. It feels like a sprint to the front of the pack.
It does, and you can't discount the government push either.
Right, the India AI mission. What's that involve again?
Big investment.
Yeah.
Something like Rs 10,372 crore, that's over $1 billion going into AI infrastructure, supporting startups, providing access to computing power, like over 10,000 GPUs.
Wow. Okay, so the wind is definitely at their backs nationally.
Yeah.
How well positioned is Author AI specifically to ride this wave? Is being AI native enough?
Being AI native is a massive advantage technically. They don't have the baggage of old systems. They can build using the latest AI thinking from the ground up.
Right, clean slate.
But beyond that, they seem perfectly placed to tap into everything we just talked about, that huge talent pool. They can recruit top engineers efficiently. The government investment in infrastructure, that potentially lowers their R&D costs or gives them access to resources.
So it's a synergy. Their tech fits the national strategy.
Exactly. They're building the kind of advanced solution that aligns with India's ambition to be an AI powerhouse. They can develop globally competitive tech, leveraging local talent and support, while this national momentum builds. It's a pretty powerful combination.
Let's bring it back to the people driving this. Uni Korath, the CEO. His vision seems pretty clear.
Yeah, he talks about building AI that doesn't just crunch numbers endlessly, but actually helps businesses make smarter, faster decisions.
He mentioned their rapid early traction, validating that vision.
And that traction is key. Talk is cheap in startups.
True. And we shouldn't forget Nikinder Shekhawat, the co-founder, the other half of the dynamic duo, bringing his own expertise to the table.
Right. It's usually a team effort. And the fact that their beta, launched back in January, got traction, and they signed up multiple design partners, early customers, helping shape the product that suggests they are genuinely onto something.
It's real-world validation.
It is. Now, they do have competitors, of course. You mentioned Google and Microsoft globally, but even locally, there are players like Nurx.ai, Vodex. It's not an empty field.
No doubt. But the overall ecosystem seems supportive. You mentioned funding trends earlier.
Hugely supportive. NASSCOM reported late last year, I think November 2024, a massive 6x jump in generative AI funding just in Q2 of fiscal year 2025.
6 times. Wow.
And get this, 77% of that funding went into early stage investments like pre-seed and seed.
So investors are really betting big on the next generation of Indian AI startups.
Exactly. It shows there's a robust appetite for risk and a strong belief in the potential of companies like Author AI. It creates this environment of momentum and confidence, which is crucial when you're attempting something as ambitious as they are.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here? Author AI's story, this latest funding round. It feels like more than just numbers on a page.
It really does. It's a potent symbol, perhaps, of how India's startup scene is maturing, becoming more ambitious, more global in its outlook.
Yeah, it's not just about building for India anymore. It's about taking on the world. With Korath and Shekhawat leading and this kind of validated backing, they seem genuinely poised to make a dent in how businesses use AI.
Their focus on fast, simple, secure solutions that really resonates. In a world often bogged down by overly complex tech, that simplicity could be their killer app.
And as they aim for the U.S. market, it's clear. This startup born in Kochi isn't thinking small. They're ready to make some serious waves.
Which leaves us with a thought, maybe for you, the listener, to chew on. We know there's a lot of discussion globally about trusting AI, about transparency. In India specifically, polls show high trust in government regulation of AI, around 65%, and a strong desire, like 67%, for companies to be transparent about how they use AI.
Right, trust and transparency are huge.
So how does a company like Author AI, building from the ground up as AI native and emphasizing security, how might they set a new standard, not just for better business intelligence, but for building that trust globally? What does their bold jump from Kochi to the U.S. tell us about where real, maybe more responsible innovation is bubbling up in the global tech landscape?
That's a great question to ponder. It's not just about the tech, it's about how it's built and deployed. Here's hoping Author AI navigates those choppy waters successfully. May their code be clean and their ambition rewarded.
Indeed, it will be fascinating to watch their journey.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time.